People. Que pasa, suck, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. Now, the day that everybody has been waiting for seems to have taken longer than the coming of Christ. Is the day when we thought that, or we were expecting to see some sorts of arrest as it pertains to SSL. The first suspect that we had expected to be charged weeks ago, Jean Ann Panton. However, this actually happened on Friday. Take a listen, take a look to what one of the investigators had to say as it pertains to her being charged, and then I'll give my piece.
We can confirm at this time that the main suspect in the investigation, the ongoing investigation into matters at Stocks and Securities Limited, Ms. Jean Ann Panton, has just been charged with a number of offences. We believe that this is absolutely important for the nation to know in real time.
Now, people, you hear what the man say. The main suspect in the investigation has been charged. Main suspect. This lady is a thief. This lady is a liar. However, we know that this lady is working with somebody else. She is what we call scapegoats. Guilty as sin. However, she is not the biggest thief of all the thieves in SSL. We have not heard anything about the Croskeries. We have not heard anything about the Harding and other persons in top management. However, the good thing is that we see that the process of justice has started. Take a listen, take a look to what the ACP that is in charge of the investigation, his name is Mr. McLaughlin, has to say about those charges that is levied against Miss Jean Ann Panton.
So the charges are larceny as a servant. She was charged also for forgery, uttering forged document. We charge her for the breaches of the Proceeds of Crimes Act, breaches of the Cybercrimes Act, and as well as breaches of the Cybercrimes Act, breaches of the Cybercrime Act Section 4, that is access with intent to commit a fraud. Currently, we are not able to say. The investigations continue, so as soon as it unfolds, then we will be able to ascertain whether or not other persons will be charged. But if that is so, we will be more than happy to bring it to the attention of the public.
So people, you hear the charge at least 5 counts. Larceny as a servant, that means she take advantage of the people that put some sorts of trust in her. Forgery, uttering forged documents. Breaches of the Proceeds of Crime, breaches of Cybercrime Act, access to commit fraud, Section 4. So people, at least 5 charges, 5 counts. Most persons would consider those to be very serious charges. But what a lot of persons are going to have a problem with is that she's the only one that has been charged thus far, so far. People are wonder, people are ponder. Then hold on a minute, at least give us some sorts of hope. However, the man said investigation continues. As soon as any other development, any other persons being charged, they will divulge that information ASAP. So, this man was not willing to go out on a limb and give us any sorts of false hope that yes, the real thief them soon get called up. He was not given any sorts of guarantee. Now, for those of us that have been keeping up with this case, we remember that when this thing initially just started, she confessed to at least swindling from 39 persons, not including Bolt. She made it seem as if Bolt was not one of her victims. The Popo or investigators also divulged to this point in the investigation, they have not come up with the total amount. Remember, we've been hearing about figures, about 2 billion Jamaican, 3 billion around there. Based on what the investigators have charged Miss Panton so far with is swindling of 10 million US dollars and 90.9 million Jamaican dollars. So people, that is buku cash. However, what we should be concerned about, they said that they have not come up with a total, the total T-free. Me just tell you, Jean and Panton alone, 10 million US, 90 million Jamaican dollars plus. The total of everything that was lost by all the clients have not come up with a total figure as yet. They also said that they have come up with an authentication that yes, Usain Bolt lost millions. He was swindled millions of dollars through Welljam or whatever his company name was. Remember, there was also some information in which the signatures are the persons that signed on that account, Jean and Panton being the manager of that account, and then Usain Bolt's ex-manager, former manager, Norman Peart, was also accused of being a signee. However, the Popo investigators have confirmed that Mr. Peart was never a suspect. Mr. Peart was never treated like a suspect. Mr. Peart has nothing to do with that account that was formed by Mrs. Jean Ann Panton. He is innocent. People, remember I told you that initially that I don't think, in my estimation or opinion, that he has anything to do with anything. I said that he was framed based on the fact that of the 39 victims, he was one of those victims that was swindled, I think, 35,000 US dollars. So people, if him are the victim, why would he be in business with Jean and Panton? However, people like them say, truth is weirder than fiction. So the good thing is that there is no more twist and turn. It could not get worse for Usain Bolt to know that he was betrayed, or STABBED, in the back by one of his managers who also made million as his manager. 10% or 20% of Usain Bolt's money that he's made throughout his career. Now, based on what the investigators are saying or declaring, of those 39 victims that Jean Ann Panton gave in her caution statement or confession, only 7, including Bolt, make 8, have signed any sorts of statements. The Popo, the investigators are asking all other clients of SSL that think that they are a victim or have confirmed that they are a victim to come forward, give some sorts of statement, tell us or tell them what they know. So like I said, the process has started. Jean Ann Panton went to the Supreme Court yesterday, which would have been Friday at about 10 a.m. in the presence of her lawyer, Tamika Harris. She was remanded in custody until February 24th when she goes for some sorts of bail hearing. And as expected, like all lawyers that represent top thief, high-profile criminals, they make it seem as if their client is a victim because of her medical condition. She don't think that the facilities in which Miss Panton is going to be at Airbnb booking is adequate, has adequate medical attention while she's in custody. Now, people, like me say, I always mention something. It is called justice delayed is justice denied. And people, as if this case has not been delayed enough, it is delayed once again. Based on what the judge is saying, she did not get the documentation of statements from investigators of cybercrime, the forensic expert, the investigators, and also the witness. Some people, it delay at least a month, and then when it goes to courts, the files are not ready. Do you see where this is headed? So, as expected, the lawyer asked for bail. It was denied. She said that her client, Jean Panton, is not a flight risk. As a matter of fact, Jean Panton already surrendered her passports. Her client is unable to walk. Her client is unable to stand up. And of course, there was a grandstanding entrance when she popped up at the courts. Being brought in her vehicle, she in the back seat, put out in a some sort of wheelchair with some sort of walker by the side. So therefore, she was making her case. So like all lawyers for high-profile criminals do, they put on a good representation of their clients. So she was throwing some sort of sympathy party to the judge and letting the judge know the severity of Mrs. Panton's medical condition. She has some sort of hip problem. She was born with it. She has done 25 surgeries to correct that problem. But the judge asked, do you have a medical record documentation of such claims? The paperwork that the lawyer showed the judge only shows that Jean Panton has diabetes. So people, we have to ask the question, is Jean Panton putting on some sorts of Oscar acting performance for the judge and the people in the public, so therefore she can get some sorts of sympathy? So that was the side of the defense lawyer Tamika Harris. In its rebuttal, the prosecution said that yes, the police, the COs, the guards, they are fully aware of Mrs. Panton's medical condition. However, we have made the arrangements with Fort Augustus, that is the female jail, I think, that is on Camp Road. They will make sure that she's as comfortable as she can, seeing that she's a high-profile client, stole millions, billions of Jamaican and also millions of USD, that is. So at the end of the day, the judge asks the defense lawyer Tamika Harris to provide more medical record to substantiate her claims the next time that she returns to courts on February 24, 2023. In the meantime, she will be remanded. And in closing, Miss Panton is still sticking to her story. She stole money because of her medical condition. She stole money because of her parents that was ill and parent that lost their life, and also brother that has some sorts of mental issue, and the fact that she was not getting compensated because SSL was in financial distress. So, before I go, people that still have faith in these institutions, especially SSL, and still think that there is hope, and still think that their money is going to be returned anytime soon, don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I am just saying, hope for the best, expect the worst. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.